The Super Bowl ended, the confetti settled, and then the real noise started, because this year's halftime show didn't just dominate the stadiums, it detonated a national argument. At the center of it all, Bad Bunny, his bold Super Bowl performance, and a furious reaction from Donald Trump that turned a music moment into a political firestorm. Almost immediately after Bad Bunny walked off the field, Trump went nuclear. From his social media platform, he blasted the performance as absolutely terrible, calling it one of the worst ever, and claiming it was a slap in the face to America. He mocked the Spanish language set, complained that nobody understands a word, and accused the show of failing American values. It wasn't a measured critique, it was a full-on eruption. What made Trump's reaction even more explosive was how fast it spread. Screenshots of his posts ricocheted across the internet, turning his words into fuel for an already heated debate. Supporters echoed his outrage. Critics accused him of missing the point entirely, and suddenly the halftime show became bigger than football. Bad Bunny's performance itself was anything but subtle, but it also wasn't what many expected. Instead of a direct attack on Trump, the Puerto Rican superstar delivered a carefully layered message about culture, identity, and unity. The entire set was performed in Spanish, making history on the Super Bowl stage. The visuals pulled viewers through sugarcane fields, neighborhood streets, and a glowing casita that represented Puerto Rican home life. It wasn't random. Every piece was intentional. The most talked about moment came near the end. As flags from across the Americas filled the screen, a message appeared. The only thing more powerful than hate is love. Then Bad Bunny held up a football that read, "Together, we are America." He followed it by saying, "God bless America," before naming countries from North, Central, and South America, expanding the idea of what America really means. That message landed like a lightning bolt. For millions watching, it felt inclusive and emotional. For others, especially in conservative circles, it felt provocative. Trump clearly fell into the second camp. His outrage wasn't just about music or language, it was about symbolism. And here's where the story gets even messier. Despite publicly trashing the halftime show, footage later revealed that Bad Bunny's performance was still playing on large screens at Trump's own Super Bowl watch party. Not muted, not switched off, just playing. The contradiction went viral, with critics questioning whether Trump hated the performance or simply hated the message behind it. Adding another layer to the controversy was the child featured during the show when Bad Bunny handed over one of his Grammys in a quiet, emotional moment. Online speculation exploded, with claims that the child symbolized immigration crackdowns. Those rumors were quickly shut down, but the damage and the conversation was already in motion. Then, right in the middle of halftime chaos, Elon Musk's platform X suddenly went dark. Thousands of users across the US reported outages as Bad Bunny performed, leaving viewers unable to post reactions in real time. Jokes flooded other platforms, with people claiming Bad Bunny had broken the internet. Whether coincidence or not, the timing only amplified the sense that everything was colliding at once. Music, politics, tech, and outrage. By the end of the night, Bad Bunny hadn't just performed, he'd shifted the cultural temperature. Trump hadn't just criticized a show, he'd poured gasoline on a national divide. And America woke up the next day arguing not about football, but about identity, language, and who gets to define what the biggest stage in the country really represents. And this story wasn't done yet. What happened next is what truly pushed this beyond a halftime controversy and into a political moment with real weight. Bad Bunny didn't respond directly to Trump. No clapback, no post, no statement. And that silence only made the performance louder, because when you look closely at what Bad Bunny actually did on that stage, the message wasn't about one politician. It was about how power, culture, and visibility collide in America. The stage design told half the story. The journey through sugarcane fields referenced Puerto Rico's history and labor. The crumbling power pylons nodded to Hurricane Maria and the long criticized federal response. The casita wasn't just decoration, it was a reminder of home, heritage, and community, placed right in the middle of the most American broadcast of the year. Then there was the language choice. Performing entirely in Spanish wasn't an accident. It challenged the idea that English alone defines American identity. For Trump, that seemed to be the breaking point. His repeated complaint, "Nobody understands a word," became a rallying cry for supporters, but also a flashpoint for critics who saw it as dismissive of millions of Spanish-speaking Americans. The irony is that Bad Bunny did speak English just once. God bless America. And he saved it for the exact moment when the message was widest, not narrowest. That single line reframed everything. It wasn't rejection, it was expansion. Politically, the impact was immediate. Supporters of Trump framed the show as proof that entertainment had become hostile to traditional values. Meanwhile, others argued the Super Bowl had simply caught up with the reality of modern America. Social feeds split cleanly down the middle, and the halftime show became a cultural Rorschach test. People saw what they already believed. Trump's reaction added gasoline. By calling the performance disgusting and a slap in the face, he turned a symbolic act into a personal feud. The language wasn't policy-driven, it was emotional, and that's why it spread. It wasn't about immigration law or national security. It was about who gets to stand at the center of the American spotlight. Even the alternative halftime show organized by conservative groups couldn't escape the comparison. While it was promoted as a counterbalance, it struggled to dominate the conversation. All eyes were still on the main stage, and on Trump's response to it. Meanwhile, the outage on Elon Musk's X platform became its own subplot. As millions tried to react in real time, the blackout created a strange silence, followed by an explosion once the platform stabilized. Whether coincidence or not, the timing fed into conspiracy jokes and memes, further amplifying the sense that Bad Bunny's performance had disrupted more than just expectations. By the following morning, headlines weren't asking who won the game, they were asking what the halftime show meant. That alone marked a shift. The Super Bowl has always reflected American culture, but this time, it forced America to argue with itself in public. And that's the real reason Trump's reaction mattered. Not because it changed Bad Bunny's message, but because it confirmed its power. When art provokes the most powerful political figure in the country into an emotional outburst, it stops being just entertainment. Bad Bunny walked onto the biggest stage in the world and left without explaining himself. Trump responded instantly, loudly, angrily, and publicly. And between those two reactions, the country saw a clear contrast. One side using symbolism, the other using outrage. In the end, this wasn't about football. It wasn't even about music. It was about who gets to define America, and whether that definition is shrinking or expanding.